Welcome to FitFarm, a show dedicated to creating a better life through fitness and the grappling arts. I'm Joseph Aronson.
I'm Jackie Baker. It's time to get jacked.
Yeah, we out here, boy.
Oh!
I have the super powerful, talented, athletic, and handsome Joseph Aronson here with with this turd Kenny Martin. Oh, I'm kidding. That wasn't nice.
It's 100% true.
No, yeah, I do have a really special guest though, Kenneth Martin, a real good friend of mine. I'm excited to have him out.
I mean, that's pushing it.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to call him a friend. I don't know if he calls me the same.
I call you some stuff.
Yeah, calls me some things. Kenny, how you doing, dude?
I'm good, man. Yourself?
Doing well, man. I'm excited you're out here. Actually,
Thank you, man.
I couldn't wait, so we moved it up a couple hours even, right?
Yes, it was like he was like, please come out here. I was like, slow down, man.
Yeah, I was about to
then
bust.
he was like, listen, I have cash, just get here.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'm on the way.
The anticipation was building for far too long.
Yeah, I could feel it. I could feel it when we talked. I mean, the 75 text I got the last 32 minutes, I figured I might as well get out here.
Yeah,
so,
you could feel it through the phone, right?
Yeah,
so,
it was desperate a little bit.
Well, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I understand, man. You're trying to do something out here, and I get that.
Yeah, but yeah. So, and for the people listening that don't know, he's staying down in Florida now. So he drove all the way up here just to do this podcast.
Yes. I saw all the comments and the suggestions of the number one guest that you guys wanted on here. So I'm here. So you're welcome. So yeah. That's why I'm up here. You know, just a relentless demand of my presence here.
Yeah, it's like beating a dead horse. They finally give in.
Yeah,
right?
I was just like, you know what? I just got to give people what they want.
Yeah.
So I'm here.
Thank you. So
you're welcome.
If we could give them a quick background about you for the people that don't know who you are, which I'm sure there's not many, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, they should probably Google me.
Yeah, do a Google search. So I mean, I know you're from the area here. Obviously, you're not staying here anymore,
yes.
But could you give us a quick rundown of just like your beginning years, early life, things like that?
Sure. I was born and raised Rockford, Illinois.
815?
815 till I die, but I moved. I lived on the west end of town and not the best areas, so grew up a little rough. I think most people have, so I mean, I don't think it's that special of a story, but just grew up kind of rough, like a knucklehead.
Yeah.
Eventually got mixed up into some MMA as I got older. I think in 2007, my wife worked at a tattoo shop and then a promoter for an organization called King of the Cage. It was much bigger then. It's a little smaller now with the rise of the UFC and Strikeforce and Bellator, stuff like that. So it's not that big of an organization anymore. Yeah. But anyways, guys came into the tattoo shop and they were promoting that fight. They were putting some posters up. And for whatever reason, my mindset said, hey, how do I fight on that show? And they said, give me your information and we'll call you.
Give me in here, yeah.
So then I said, okay. I gave them what they needed and I didn't hear anything for a while. And then I got a call. And then they were like, can you make 205? I was sitting at probably 245 pounds and this was 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
So then I called Joey and our friend Mark Rallo. Some of you may know.
Shout out Mark Stiles, Mark Rallo.
Yeah. So then, I took a fight. I'd never trained anywhere. I was just kind of a guy that got in fights and bars and whatnot, like every jerk when they're in their early 20s. So Joey was like my wrestling coach for that. And then I guess Mark helped me with striking. He more like just got knocked out in his living room several times.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. So
we
moved
was that right there off Sandy Hollow.
Sandy Hollow, those apartments. Yeah, those apartments. So we moved his couches out, and he would talk crazy like something was going to happen, and then I knocked him out several times leading up to it in his living room. So I appreciate that.
Thanks for being a good sport, Mark.
Yeah. Joey, I think you were coaching some. Yep. Maybe elementary wrestling.
Middle school, yep.
Middle school wrestling. Yep. So we actually would go anywhere we could get on a mat.
Yeah.
And you would work wrestling and takedowns with me, which did help me quite a bit because I had no idea what I was doing whatsoever. Looking back on it, I just took the fight because I thought I was a tough guy, and terrible decision to take a fight before you've ever trained.
Yeah.
So then I did that, and then they asked me, what kind of opponent do you want? Do you want a local guy who has no fights like yourself? And I go, no, give me your best guy.
I want a stud. Yeah.
So then I got a guy who was 16-1
Whoa.
for my first fight ever.
Jack too, right?
Oh, he's
Jack.
yeah, a lot bigger than me. And he had 16-1. So then, I took the fight. We went there. Yourself and Mark cornered me. And then went in there and proceeded to get elbowed in my face and punched. And then the only thing that I was surprised by is I made it out to a decision. I didn't get finished. And I got put in arm locks. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
And I was able to escape arm locks and stuff like that. So just instinct and just like not wanting to be beaten that bad, I survived, weathered the storm. Not an exciting fight.
The fighter spirit, though. I mean,
yeah.
you didn't, like you said.
I did drop him within the first 30 seconds. I put him on his back early in the first round, and I was honestly shocked.
Yeah.
I was just like,
what do I do now?
I honestly froze. Yeah, I froze. Was like that. Didn't expect that. But that's one of those things when I really only sparred up to that point with Mark. Never worked with anybody who understood fighting. So just lack of experience, but I surprised myself a lot of things. So then I was like, after getting caught in those arm locks, I was like, I have to figure this out. This stuff's magic. I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so kind of was, there wasn't frequent MMA shows like there are now back then.
No, now there's fights.
Yeah, you could catch a fight
easy.
every month if you wanted to, if not every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So then I believe you started training at Core Combat. You've always been grappling and wrestling of some sort.
Yeah.
And you had started working out at Tommy's place, which I believe he's going to be on the show later today.
Yeah, he'll be out here in a few hours, a couple hours.
So, so he'll give you his background, but, when you guys hear that podcast, he was my first coach.
Yeah, mine too, for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. So then I went to that academy with you, and then I probably was powerlifting and weighed probably roughly 280 pounds the first time I went there. Okay?
Big boy.
So then I grappled with this guy. They called him Andimal. He was an MMA fighter. He was 18. He wrestled for 3 years in high school. Had been training jiu-jitsu for about a year and a half. And I think, like most people, he was like, go with him. And I outweigh him by, 125 pounds or so.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, go with him. It'll be fine. So I do the thing like where I act like I'm going to try not to hurt him, thinking that like just because I'm just so large and powerful that I have to be
fragile.
I have to be able to win. There's just nothing in the world makes sense if somebody my size can't beat somebody his size. So it progressed through probably 10 rounds of grappling at the end where I was almost dead, but using every bit of horsepower that I had in my body to try to beat this kid.
Mm-hmm.
And he did not break a sweat. He out-techniqued me. He just used technical moves that I did not understand, that I could not stop, I could not defend, and just wrecked me 10 times in a row.
Who was it again?
His name was Andy. I don't remember his last name, but they called him Andimal.
Okay.
Andy the Animal. And he had a good MMA record.
Yeah.
I believe he's from Byron.
Okay. Younger kid?
I think I was 23 or 24 at that time. He would have been 18 years old.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I think he was still in high school at the time.
Yeah.
And he wrecked me. And I was just like, I don't understand how somebody so small
what's happening
can handle me. I was like, I don't get this. How is he making me submit to his will so much? I think I got my arm popped. I think I hurt my shoulder, like just going, I'm not going to tap to this kid. Just being a meathead and not having any sense that there's a leverage point. There's techniques that you don't understand.
Yeah.
So after about 10 times like that, I walked to Tom and I go, sign me up. I don't get it. This is magic. I have to understand this. This doesn't make sense.
I gotta figure this out.
So then, I started going there regularly, and then took another fight under Tom's organization pretty early, But just really liked jiu-jitsu, and then just kept learning it. For the first couple months, my gi was always in the washer.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not wearing this. Because when people would use the grips against you, and if you didn't understand it, it's a very difficult. It's a very difficult thing if you come from no wrestling and definitely never wore a gi before, and trying to understand the complexities of gi grips.
Oh, man.
It takes a long time, and now
frustrating too.
Now I'm extremely comfortable in the gi, and I can't imagine not training gi every week.
Mm-hmm.
So then, I did that for a while, and then 2010 rolled around, and then I moved to Florida. I got down there, did like the beach bum thing, saved a little bit of money. Just wanted to get my kid, get our daughter at the time, just out of Illinois.
Yeah.
Just kind of just didn't want that life anymore.
Yeah, want to be somewhere with the nice weather too, I imagine.
Good weather, just change the scenery. me and my wife, we've suffered a lot of loss. So just wanted to we need to start over.
Yeah.
So we wound up in Ormond Beach, Florida. It's near Daytona. I was just driving near the beach, and I found a particular school in Flagler Beach.
I've never been. That's
it's
close
just,
to Daytona
It's just
Beach?
north of Daytona, like 20 minutes. And there was a school there. So I kept stopping by, but it was like a second location for a big school. It was in Jacksonville.
Okay.
But I was never able to catch anybody there.
Mhm.
So I go back down to my town, Ormond, and I'm just driving down. I think I was taking my daughter Gretchen to school. And then I saw another Gracie Jiu Jitsu Academy. And for whatever reason, it was the only time I've ever seen it.
Yeah. Bingo.
I kept passing it. So then I said, okay. And I saw that the door was open. It's directly a beautiful academy.
Mhm.
The academy is here. There's the road and then the ocean. Big picture front glass windows there. You overlook the ocean the whole time you train. So I was like, I got to check this place out.
Yeah.
So I went in there, and then I met who is now my main instructor.
So you're still there?
Yeah.
No.
We're not that location, but I'm still with
okay.
the same instructor that I've been with since White Belt.
Wow.
So his name is John Michael Kalakini.
Okay. I think I remember you talking about him
so
before.
he is of Hawaiian and Brazilian descent. He is a direct black belt under Helson Gracie. He has an extremely close relationship with Hickson. We just hosted like a massive seminar last year with Hickson in Daytona where we had, I think, 250 people out. We had to rent a pavilion at the Harley Davidson there
fit all those people.
just to house it. Yeah, I think we brought in 700 mats or something. We literally had forklifts and flatbeds bringing in mats in from. I
think I remember that on Snapchat or Instagram or something.
I Instagrammed a picture of, I think, just standing next to piles of mats, but it was just 6 foot tall high piles of mats, and there was like 15 to 20 of them. It took us hours with a lot of people just to get those down.
And the whole day probably.
Then
just
to pick up,
yes,
we were there, several hours before the seminar and put those mats down. But
man.
I mean, if anybody gets the chance to actually get to train and learn from Hickson Gracie, I strongly
take it.
Recommend it.
Yeah.
You might not see everything, like if you see a video of him teaching something, but that's why they talk about his jiu-jitsu being invisible jiu-jitsu. It's very small, little things, little key things, but it is really Jedi.
Yeah.
It's so much different and more precise than what you're used to learning. And I'm fortunate with my instructor in Florida, he has paid very close attention to that. And he is the devil's in the details.
Yeah.
So we fortunately get to receive that on a daily basis, which is basically almost direct knowledge coming from Hickson, and 17 years directly with Helson as well.
Wow.
2-stripe black belt, taught at his main academy, lived with him in Hawaii, very close to the family. So.
Wow.
So very, very cool.
Nice. That's cool. No, so I kind of wanted to go back a little bit in like you said, you started into jiu-jitsu and you were already in like powerlifting and stuff like that.
Yes.
Was there a certain moment where you just started to get into the gym or just get into fitness in general? Like, was there a moment where something snapped in your head or did like a tragedy, or was it just you're like, hey man, I just want to look good? Or
so I was always the chubby kid.
Yeah.
I remember being
really.
Yes. Still am. So I remember distinctly being 6 years old and being skinny.
Yeah. And
my mode of transportation was to run to any one of my friend's house as fast as I possibly could. Just run.
Yeah.
My background with my family, to be completely open and honest, and that's where I'll go with this, is both of my parents were extreme drug addicts. Okay. When crack cocaine hit in the 80s, my parents got hooked. Before that, it was speed, heroin, crystal meth. I mean, everything that you can imagine.
Yeah.
Like my parents were on drugs. We had no supervision as kids.
You and your brother, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it became like you'd wind up eating McDonald's multiple times a day, or just Doritos.
Whatever.
That's what
was
the food stamps would buy.
Yeah.
We grew up. So you grew up as just a person that goes, I eat a bag of chips for my meal that day. You know what I mean? That was the lifestyle that we led. I probably had McDonald's every day of my life until I was into my 20s and realized that, I shouldn't do this.
This isn't real food.
You know what
right?
I mean? This is terrible. Yeah. You eat it, and then you're instantly in the bathroom, and then you're like, I'm hungry again.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I did this taking 1,500 calories in one meal, but why am I hungry?
Yeah.
Why is my body not satisfied with this? But it takes a long time to realize that it's terrible. So then I noticed it like at 7, all of a sudden, I went from being skinny to just being the chubbiest kid, like in a
Blew
year.
up.
I just blew up, yeah, not in a good way. So being unhealthy was a big part of my life growing up. Okay. And as a teen, and the drug use for my family, and it never stopped. It was always, I remember counting and talking to my wife about it. Typical people, it's like, how many schools did you go to? I went to an elementary school, middle school, and high school. I went to 12 elementary schools. I've been to 4 middle schools, and I've been to 3 high schools.
Okay. Were they moving a lot, or is
because
that just
of the moving? You just moved to different districts, and they pull you out of school
midway through the school year. When
there was years where I went to 3 different schools.
You're just trying to make friends. You're starting over all the time. Yeah.
So I got very comfortable being alone all the time.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I got so I grew up on martial arts movies. Always alone, but just developing, not having any friends, not having a stable diet or cooked meals.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Into my whole life, and then to help my parents support their drug habit because they didn't work. They would sell drugs.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I saw that as a means to escape that life, and so that's what I did.
Yeah.
So then I got in trouble with selling drugs, and then went to jail, and then I got under a bar with 135 on it. And this is a weird place to realize this, but I needed a spotter to help me bench press 135 pounds, and I weighed 220 pounds.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there going, I go, this doesn't make sense. I'm looking at guys way smaller, just repping out like 2 1/4.
Yeah.
And I just go, oh man,
I'm behind.
This is not good.
It's time to catch up a little, huh?
Yeah. So I was there for roughly 18 months. I believe we were friends at that point.
Yeah, I wrote you a couple times. Yeah,
we wrote back and forth, and I appreciate that. People don't realize what that means, but just getting a letter from a friend is a big deal. But by the time I was done with that, I was repping like 2 1/4, and then as soon as I came home, I wanted to surround myself with positive people.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was I came home in 2006, and I've never been in any ounce of trouble since then.
Yeah.
I heard so many people, you're going to go back, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and I said no.
No.
But I surrounded myself around good people. And then you were in the gym. You lived at peak. You were like the most jacked dude that I knew. That was in my age. I remember, I'll tell you a story. I hope I don't get you in trouble, but you were younger, single. But I remember for your 21st birthday, I took you to a strip club.
Yeah.
And then I remember it was hilarious because you were so jacked at the time. The girl pulled your shirt off, and then every girl in the club ran up and jumped on stage and sexually assaulted you with their hands.
Jeez, that's offensive, right?
I was just like, and I just thought, I was like, I bet that is a pretty good confidence boost right there. You know what I mean?
I don't remember anything from that night.
Oh no, I carried you out of there. We had to pay the bouncer to let us in because we were so drunk by the point we got there. We had to buy our way in.
Yeah. It's usually $5, but it's going to be 25.
That was I don't know if you know this or not, but we spent like $1,000 that night just on booze and just getting crazy. So fun night.
Yeah.
But so I looked at you and was like, okay, this dude knows what he's doing. I mean, you worked out through high school, you wrestled. So then I was like, when I came home, I was like, got a peak pass.
Yeah.
I was moving furniture, doing my thing.
That was demanding too, physically.
Yeah. So I moved furniture 6 days a week, and I worked out 2 hours almost every 6 days a week.
Yeah,
I would take Sundays off. Yeah. And, so got to where I was, benching 2 1/4, for easy sets, and got up into the 300s, And then I got to the point where I just stayed there,
Yeah, plateaued kind of.
I didn't go. I wasn't focusing on powerlifting.
Sure.
That's more of a recent thing. It was more of I got to a point where it's like, I'm stronger than a lot of dudes. I'll just do my 3-4 sets of 2 1/4, for 10 racket.
Yeah, and go home.
Go incline, decline, maybe some dumbbells later, But basically in 2017 is when I started going, I want to power lift. I'm going to start doing deadlifts and
start
squatting.
Doing the bigger moves, yeah.
Because, I was one of those dudes who's like, I'm skipping leg day.
Again!
Yeah.
My legs are...
I don't know if I've been to one.
Yeah, your legs are strong. Yeah. I mean, they were naturally strong from riding bikes for years, too,
BMX
right?
was an outlet for me as a kid, and inline skating as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, skating.
I don't know if Mark, and you talked, Mark Durham, one of your guests, one of my oldest friends. I've known him since we were single digits.
Yep.
We grew up skating together, jumping onto handrails, stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's why I can put 1,000 pounds in a leg press and I can rep it, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know.
You've got a good base. I mean, you were doing that forever.
Yeah.
That's
really,
hard.
big, strong legs, but then just I just started doing all that stuff, working it now, and started deadlifting and started working for power, and really focused on that. Slowed down the reps and put on bigger weight. Try to do 5x5s or doing sets of 3, stuff like that. Just changing it up quite a bit, and my strength has really improved.
Yep, and you're focusing on the big lifts, the deadlifts, the squats, the compound moves, right?
Yeah, I bench, deadlift, and squat. Each one of those movements I do twice a week now.
Good. Yeah, that's good. Frequency's good too. So a lot of people that are listening that don't understand, if you can do it twice a week, do it twice a week. Don't just do it once and then wait a whole week to do it again.
Yeah, I mean that's a bodybuilder mentality.
Yep.
One body part a week, and if that's your focus, that's perfect.
Sure.
But if you want to build strength and you want to be a power lifter, you're going to need to do those big movements at least twice a week.
Yeah.
You got some people that say they're just a bench press guy. They're going to do a bench workout 3 times a week, and then they're going to do a bunch of accessory work on other days that only focus on that. So you'll have guys that'll just focus on their chests in some way, some form, 6 times a week.
Yeah.
The guys that have 800-pound benches.
Sure.
They're doing that stuff,
Yeah. Some of the the hardcore deadlifters are they're deadlifting 3 times a week or something, and they're killing it. Olympic lifters too. They're the same thing, man. They're doing the same.
I have not
moves.
heard. Did you release the one with Forsaken Warrior yet?
No, that'll be out next week. So
okay.
No.
Did he mention how many times a week he deadlifts?
I can't remember if he did or not.
Because he's around 900 or so. He's
over 900 now.
900-pound deadlift, right?
Yeah. So I imagine he's. If I had to guess, he's doing it more than once a week.
I would imagine he's probably putting at least 3 days of work on that.
Yeah, because it's a skill like jiu-jitsu. You want to get better at it. You got to do it. So, speaking of, you trained jiu-jitsu. Now you've done it in Illinois. You've done it in Florida. You've done it in California.
Yes.
What are the different, what is the culture difference there versus here versus California? I mean,
so. I was a heavy equipment operator in electrical union, worked for the power company. Me and you actually worked in the same union way back in the day of Local 196. So we kind of all got our start there. I became a directional drill foreman and was putting power underground. So that took me to California outside San Francisco. And I trained at Crosley Gracie's Academy in Brentwood, California. And the thing that is different about California to the Midwest is all of the guys out there are just so much smaller.
Yeah.
And everybody does other things to assist their jiu-jitsu. They're all working on they have cardio programs. They're all dieting.
Yoga.
A lot of competitors, yoga. It's a very active lifestyle out there. It's a beautiful state.
Yeah.
It's just I just don't mesh well there.
Yeah, it's not for you. I've had a few people say that.
I know Mark had talked about it, and I feel similarly. I think it's just a different culture. If you're born there, it's probably really nice, and people accept you and let you slide in. And
it's nice to visit.
It's nice to visit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lived there for a year and a half. It wasn't for me.
I feel like a lot of people that train jiu-jitsu out west, most of them are competitors, and it's like their life. Like everything they do.
Yes, most of the schools. So, and that's the big thing. Like my home base in Florida, everything is based off of self-defense, grappling, and ability. Like I submit black belts on a regular basis at other places. Yep. Brown belts, all of that stuff. And I started doing that at blue belt.
Yeah.
Okay. But the only reason I'm not a brown belt or a black belt is because of just the time I've taken away from actually practicing the self-defense.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that there is a lot involved in that. There are so many techniques that you have. And it's not like, let me try that again if you're testing for your next belt.
Yeah.
It's like, you're going to go, you made a mistake? Okay, we'll try again in 6 months.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah, because a lot of schools are focusing on the tournament aspect of it. And then it's like, okay, get them down. Now hold them for your points. Hold for this point, this and that. And that's cool if you're an athlete and you want to do it for the sport. I'm not hating on that. I think that's awesome because it's great that it's starting to build a following and people are recognizing it. But in a real life situation, it's good to focus on the self-defense side too.
Yes. So, I have no issue with being a competitive school that just works on competition. It's just kind of like joining a pool league or a baseball team. You're just playing a sport.
Yep.
And that's what it is when you're working at a competition school. You can be really awesome at jiu-jitsu, but then it's probably not going to, let's say you take a fight in MMA, it's not going to translate well, most likely. You're not going to Berimbolo a lot of dudes in a cage.
You're going to pull guard and get your face pounded.
Yeah. So, and I'm not saying that you can't come from a sports school and do well. You know, I don't have a strong opinion. Just my background has been self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see that a lot out west.
Yeah.
Very competition-based, a lot of very, physically fit, a lot of lean guys, a lot of competitors, very active lifestyle. And then Florida, it's just kind of like, it's a melting pot.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people will wind up there because they want to live by the ocean.
They want to retire.
They want to get old and retire. But you got a huge mix of different people. And I think it's a really special and cool place because you have a lot of really cool people who are like unhappy in some other place, whether it be New York, the Midwest, wherever, and they go, I'm going to go down here and live by the beach, and this is my dream. So now you got all these people that come together, and they're kind of living their dream together.
They're all happy, right?
So you meet these people, like you have awesome conversations all the time with great people. And I have to say, like, every person that I've ever, come across in jiu-jitsu that I've met in Florida, I've liked a lot. We went down. Uh-oh.
No, we're good.
Got some phones down.
Had a phone drop. Sorry. So the people you met in Florida.
Yeah, so I just close-knit people. Made really great friends there. My instructor, all the people that are from there have kind of been in the area. He spent half of his time in Hawaii with his father, and then half the time in Florida with his mother, kind of back and forth his whole life. So he's got a very laid-back, almost island-style personality, and just kind of introduced me to a lot of people, really took me in. He was like one of my first really good friends, down there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, just a very laid-back, way more chill atmosphere. I really like the people there, better than most of the people that I met in California. I'll meet people pretty quickly that come to our academy, and then we're watching fights together like the next week and having a cookout.
Yeah.
I lived in California for 18 months. I was never invited to anything by anybody.
Yeah.
At the academy, you know what I mean?
That says something right there about.
And I was just like, I had plenty of situations where like these guys, and the thing that I've noticed too about traveling out west, every time I rolled with somebody, it was like they were trying to roll to the death.
Sure. Yeah. It wasn't nothing slow roll.
I put the same guy to sleep 2 times in a row, just because he was like, no, I made a mistake. No, you shouldn't have got that.
Yeah,
and then he,
tap either, right?
No, he wouldn't tap. So I put this guy out twice in a row. He's a purple belt as well, and I was like, dude, this is not how I do things, man. I'm not gonna, I think you're already kind of confused from going to sleep multiple times. I don't think you're gonna fare any better the 3rd time. I was like, I'm leaving, dude. I'm not gonna keep putting you to sleep, dude. I don't want you to have any kind of brain damage because of this. Going to sleep every once in a while isn't a big deal, but if you're gonna do it 3 or 4 times in a row,
I don't see that being good.
I don't think it's the best option. So I ran into that mentality a lot. I'm not saying there wasn't some good people, but nobody really there was no olive branch. Like when you're new and you come to our academy in Florida, you're going to get welcomed. We'll probably invite you to lunch that day. And we'll say, hey, we got fights this weekend. Do you want to come?
Yeah.
So that's the difference between Florida and California. Here's Midwest people, good people. These are people I grew up with.
Yeah.
Core combat sports. It's like home base for me when I come here. I train there every time I visit. We're going to do a big open mat tonight, which you'll be attending.
Yep, I'll be there.
So that'll be a lot of fun. I think I'm just a California hater. I don't know.
Well, so pretty much like Midwest to Florida, the people are similar, right? And it seems like the jiu-jitsu is still pretty well self-defense oriented there, right? At core, obviously they're people that compete, but I think
they still have a base. There's still that essence of self-defense. And I think that, if you're going to consider yourself Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, which that's where their lineage comes from, you basically have
Pedro Sauer.
Pedro Sauer, who was under Hickson, who was over Jeff, who was over Tommy. So, it all comes down from the family.
Yep.
So, and it's like, those guys need to know that self-defense, and they need to teach it. And I think it's important, what I mean, to be Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
And Helio would always say, if you don't know self-defense, you don't know jiu-jitsu.
Right.
You could be beating everybody at black belt at the Worlds, but if you didn't know self-defense, he wouldn't give you a blue belt.
Right.
They didn't care. You had to know this stuff, and it was important to them.
Yep.
So just the styles are different, more competition-based out west.
Yeah.
A lot of great competitors and a lot of, everybody's in really good shape.
Yeah.
You know what? Even if they didn't compete, it was still like, oh, dude's got a 6-pack and he runs 5 miles a day.
Yeah,
And,
he's super jacked.
he's in good shape. He'll roll all night. So it's like, I had great rolls out there, really competitive people, but I was always one of the larger guys.
Sure.
So my game was, if you're too fast, I'm going to slow you down.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and they get frustrated, right? I'm sure.
yeah, I mean, I was
Feelings
talking to
hurt.
I went to a friend's academy in Sanford, Florida last week, and I was talking to a kid who had a wrestling background. He weighs 275.
Oh, big boy.
Big guy. And it was funny because we started talking. Anybody I've ever rolled against, unless they're extremely close friends, like you very rarely when you're a larger guy, you'll hear, man, you're good. You're going to hear, man, you're strong.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you're so strong. Well, I mean, I might be strong. A lot of people say I'm really strong. I have some good lifts, but I'm just strong. My jiu-jitsu's garbage,
Yeah, your pressure's good. I know that, and your game's solid. I think you're good.
Yeah,
but
and that's the thing you hear you hear that a lot. And it was funny that me and him were talking
You're so
about
strong.
that.
What do you weigh?
Yeah,
Right?
and it was like, oh, what do you weigh? You're so heavy. You're so strong.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, and he was like, I get really down, man. It gets me frustrated. And I just told him, I said, hey, just get used to it. Nobody's ever going to give you the attention or the notoriety you deserve. You're always just going to be big.
Yeah.
But guess what? You're still tapping them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said, you win.
Yeah, you're gonna be big, you're gonna be strong, and they're gonna complain about something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna find something that they're unhappy about because you beat them. It's not like, well, I mean, he just took my back and choked me, and
because he's strong.
And it's because he's strong.
Right.
Well, I mean, you didn't defend the collar grip.
Yeah.
He arm dragged you. You didn't defend that. And then you let him get your hooks in. You didn't defend that. And then he choked you, which you didn't defend until the choke was in. But he's strong.
He's faster than you too. Weird, huh? So that it kind of helps me out with the what I was wondering about how the culture is down there, and the jiu-jitsu, like you said, are similar between Florida and Rockford, but out west is whole nother.
Yes, I never, I didn't, even though I was a member of that academy and I trained there for about a year, I never really felt welcome.
Yeah.
By a lot of the students. Crosley was great.
Mm-hmm.
Crosley's a great instructor. He's got a great team of people. He runs a large academy, a very beautiful facility. But just the people didn't make me feel the most invited.
Yeah.
The school, if you're from there, if you're in that area and you want to train, that's the place that I would go to. I mean, you have a grandson of Carlos from the Carlos side, very good black belt. He fought in Japan. He's not a joke. He's got some real stuff. He's a world champion. He's no joke.
Yeah.
He's a tough guy. He's fought in big organizations, so he's a great guy and was very nice. And he was one of the people that I enjoyed seeing there the most.
Yep, and that's the thing I want people to understand about jiu-jitsu is it's like a family.
It
like
truly
when
is. Yeah.
you join an academy, like those people got your back no matter what. You can call them; they'll hang out with you, or you're having some troubles at home or this or that. Like they all stick together pretty tight. Right?
Yeah, I think you were. I was listening to one of your podcasts the other day. And you were talking about that, like, I don't have any of my closest friends nowadays that have all choked me.
Yeah,
right.
And
that's what I was saying. It's like,
something, yeah.
Yeah, like we've sparred, we've hit each other, we've grappled, we've choked each other, So, yeah, I mean, the majority of my friends, we've all been on the mats,
Yeah.
We've all spent a lot of time there just sweating, training, getting better.
Getting north-south on each other a little bit.
North-south, no gi.
No gi, free ball,
no gi, no pants.
Yup.
What do they call that?
No worries. Yeah, that's good. No, yeah, I agree. That's a good time. North, south.
Where's this thing going?
Yeah, wait, yeah. Let's reel her back.
Reel back in.
So what's on the map for 2018 for you?
So in November, I started working with a guy named Jim Arthur. Our Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Florida is housed inside of his larger facility, which is called the Body Exchange Gym. His name is Jim Arthur. He's been involved with bodybuilding, powerlifting. He was a Blackwater guy. Did like high profile security work in a lot of like third world countries, protecting people. Just an old, really tough, badass dude. He's 57 years old now.
Done it all.
Still jacked as shit. He wants to, he's letting his shoulder heal up and he wants to start powerlifting with me and just he wants to get crazy. But he put me on a program for diet in November. And started having me kind of change rep schemes and just working with me, just tweaking things. So since November, I'm down like 30 pounds.
Holy crap! Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And you feel good?
I feel really good.
It's not one of those like, oh, I'm exhausted.
I feel really good. I'm at, with if work allows, I train jiu-jitsu and lift 5 to 6 times a week.
Nice.
So I try to get in quite a bit. I get my meals in every 3 hours. I'm doing the chicken breast and the salmon.
Yeah.
And, I do a little bit of brown rice, a sweet potato if I'm going to train.
Mm-hmm.
Egg whites in the morning, oatmeal. So
yeah, so carbs,
the weight comes off. You're getting some carbs in.
Yeah, but they're all healthy. They're all good.
Yeah, you're not like, well, I'm getting my carbs from French fries.
Yeah, or cookies or something. Sugar.
I had a couple of brownies.
Yeah,
get my carbs in. Just choice carbs, quality carbs.
Yeah, we're getting good complex
is key,
carbs.
and then making sure you're getting some protein in.
Yep. So the goal for this year is to.
I want to get as lean as I possibly can.
Okay.
I've never been lean.
6-pack.
Yeah, I've never had it.
Never had abs?
I mean, when I was like 5 or 6 years old, that was the last time I saw abs. I mean, I've been close plenty of times, like for a fight or something, but I was only close for like a day or two.
Sure,
it's like, let's put this 25 pounds back on as fast as we can.
Let me look like DC real quick.
Yeah, let me get my DC on. Got the keg going on.
Sure.
So just trying to get lean, get strong. I'd like my bench to improve and get into like the 4.5 range.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at about 405 right now.
That's good.
So I'd like to get it to 450-ish by end of year. I think I can do it. Like just what I've seen, what I've progressed since like September till now. In that time frame, I do think that I could add another 45 pounds to it within a year. Maybe better, but that's I think a reasonable goal.
Yeah.
Is to get there. Getting lean. All I've been doing is I just got to work a little more self-defense, and then I'll be testing for brown belt.
So get the brown belt this year too.
Yes, my instructor has told me for like the last 2 years, like you're grappling at a black belt or brown belt level. There's no reason for this. We just if to be right and to do it the way that Hickson and Helson would want, you need to be solid with this self-defense stuff.
Yep.
And he wants anybody that's purple, brown under him that you can teach.
You need to be able to teach.
You need to be able to teach every one of these things properly. And if Helson walked in and saw you teaching a class, he'd shake his head like, yes, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Helson is a tough critic, and he cares. He truly cares about his father's jiu-jitsu.
Well, yeah, he cares about the sport. He doesn't want to.
It's very pure.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you that our jiu-jitsu is close to the stream. It's pure. So.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 2018. What about what's the future look like for you after this year? Beyond, like, are you plan on training pretty much till you're no longer physically
Yes,
capable?
I'm going to train my entire life.
Yeah.
If there's anything that's been stable in my life over the last 8 or 9 years, it's jiu-jitsu has always been a staple. It's always been there. I mean, there's been times where I'd be hurt, where I'd take some time off, and I moved to California just financially. It was my wife was pregnant, so I took 7 months off. And for some people take 7 months off something, a lot of people don't come back. I was already a purple belt. I could have had the blue belt curse, purple belt curse. Well, I got this belt. I'm good. I'll go back one day.
Sure.
But I didn't want to do that. I just waited till I was able to, and then boom, got back on the mats. So yeah, consistently always train jiu-jitsu, trying to power lift, but not hurt myself to where I have those back injuries and all that stuff.
Sure.
I want to try to become one of the physically strongest grapplers that there are. I don't see guys that do jiu-jitsu that lift where I'm like, oh, that guy's extremely strong.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a very few guys. I've seen some guys that they're like bodybuilders and powerlifters, and like they're like at a white belt level.
Yeah.
And they go to a class and they're like, oh, I'm a strong grappler. And I'm not saying they're not.
You're a strong dude that took a grappling class.
Yes. Yeah. When you get your purple or brown belt and you put some years in and you have some real technique, then it's like, okay, I'll look at that guy. But I would like to be a high level, high belt.
Yeah.
And if one of the, if not the strongest physically, as far as lifting and just physically strong grapplers, that there are. So
that's it, man. That's the end goal right there.
Yeah.
Just be jacked to the gills, strong.
As strong as I possibly can be.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a big fan of like what Mark Bell says.
Yeah.
He said, weakness is never a strength, and strength is never a weakness. And I love that saying.
Yeah. So, I don't think I heard that. That's good. I like it.
Yeah.
We can end on that, dude. We can we'll close it out. Weakness is never a strength. Unless you had anything you want to touch on before we get shutting it down.
No, I'm good, man.
Spilled some beans, so that's good. I mean, you let it all out. So, want anybody that wants to get a hold of Kenny or follow him, you can find him on Instagram at
Kenny Jits.
So JITZ or TS?
Z.
Okay, so Kenny, KennyJitz, and then it's just Kenny Lee on Facebook.
On
right?
Facebook, yeah. Anybody that's connected to you
Yeah.
or follows the FitFarm thing, any of the thing
Yep.
that's been liked on Facebook, you'll see that I've liked that stuff.
Yep.
I follow it on Instagram.
I'll have his name on the bio of the episode too.
Yeah.
So sweet.
So I can be found there.
Yeah, man.
You can follow me if you like.
You can find him in the gym too.
You can find me in the
Get
gym.
wrapped up.
If you want to train while I'm in town, we're open mat tonight.
Yeah, buddy.
If you're visiting Florida and you need some mat space, and we have open doors for any visitor that's part of the grappling world. Please feel free to hit me up. Get on the mats with us, man. We'll have some fun.
All right, sweet. All right, thanks, dude, for coming out.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye.